Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday. We've got a special guest joining us today. We've got Charlie Schlatter joining us, and he's going to actually be in Sioux Falls next month, so it's less than a month from now. Charlie, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, John. How are you doing, buddy?
I am fantastic. We are excited to see you again in Sioux Falls. You're going to be here next month. It's July 9th, a thing called Voices Against Cancer. And people know you from Diagnosis Murder on CBS with a guy, what's his name? Dick Van Dyke? I think that's what they called him, right?
yeah, Dick Van something. I don't know. He's done a couple of things, but the kid has a real future ahead of him.
One of my favorite movies, by the way, is a movie that you were in with George Burns, 18 Again. You did such an amazing job in that movie.
Oh, thanks, man.
What was it like working with George Burns? That dude was a legend.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. And I have to say it was, it was like working with Santa Claus every day. It was just working like with this really magical character. I don't know if a lot of kids even know who he is anymore, but our generation certainly does. And he was just a living legend. And you don't get that opportunity like ever in your life. Sometimes you get to meet one, but to actually sit knee to knee with someone and work on project together, it's pretty amazing. I wish that would happen to me now because I think I would appreciate it that much more.
Oh, yeah.
And I did appreciate it. As a 21-year-old guy doing that movie, I did appreciate it. I got it. But even now, more so, you look back and go, oh, my God, I was so fortunate to have that experience.
And you've had a lot of really cool things that you've had a chance to do. And one of the things that I love, you do a ton of voice work. I'm a big voice guy, so I really appreciate this a ton. But let's talk about some of the characters that you've had a chance to lend your voice to.
Okay.
So we've got, let's start maybe with Flash. That's a pretty fun one on the Superman animated series.
Yeah, I did that on the Superman another one called Justice League Action. It's so funny because there's like there'll be like 5 other actors who all can kind of put Flash on their poster and say, I'm the voice of Flash. Not that we're fighting each other, but every company, whenever they kind of reboot a series or redo it, they kind of bring in who they want to, who their like favorite Flash was or whatever. I am proud to say that I'm the most recorded Flash when it comes to cartoons. So that's fun. And yeah, that's just a fun character. He's just, snarky and fast and funny. I don't have to do a lot of vocal gymnastics for that one. I don't walk out of that session with like a bleeding throat.
Another one, Kick Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil. What a fun character.
That was honestly I think that was my favorite character to do. Little Kick Buttowski from Mellowbrook. Totally fun. Just because he was like 2 feet tall with, nerves of steel. And John, what was so awesome about that show is that just it came at the right time in my life because my son, who's the youngest, I've got 3 kids, and he's my youngest, but I think he was probably like 8 or 9 years old when that came out. So he was the target audience. He and all his buddies and every boy that I coached on Little League or basketball or soccer. And I think for those guys, it was a kick for them. It's not often that you get like someone, your coach, to be the voice of a character that you watch every day.
Absolutely.
And so, again, that's something I didn't take for granted.
And when my son's 25, but when he was a little kid, there was a show, Ben 10, that he absolutely loved. And you got to be Kevin Levin on Ben 10, which is really cool.
Yeah, Kevin Levin on that, on the original one. Because sometimes, not that I work that much, but sometimes you kind of go from job to job and you forget who you've been, what characters you've done. And it's not until you're at a place like, Voices Against Cancer or something when some kid comes up and says, oh, remember when you were Airbender? And you're like, no. And then they show you a picture and you go, oh my gosh, you're right. I was that guy,
Well, speaking of Voices Against Cancer, that event is coming up less than a month away now. It's sneaking right up it's Saturday, July 9th. It's in Sioux Falls. And I want to just say thank you for coming here and being a part of this. People will get a chance to come and chat with you in person. We had a chance, my wife and I had a chance to meet you last year at SuperCon. Yeah. So you've been to Sioux Falls. Welcome back again this coming month. And so when you go to events like this, and the Voices Against Cancer event is a new event, but when you go to these, what are some of the main questions people ask you at the table there?
Well, first of all, they say, gosh, you're a lot shorter than I thought, which is,
well, you're sitting down. That's why. So
yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what it is, but I am. I don't, it's there. I've had this really weird, eclectic kind of career because I do so many just odd things and things from here and there that, like I said, I even sort of forget what I do. So when you're sitting there and you've got your little photos in front of you, and people come up because they're like, oh, yeah, Kevin 11, I'll see, whatever, and they want to talk about that. And then the mom says, oh, my gosh, you were Ferris on Ferris Bueller? Or they just, like, all these little these pictures just sort of trigger something in their mind and go, oh, my, I didn't know you were the Honey Nut Bee, or whatever. And then you end up, signing a bunch of those pictures.
Yeah.
It's very fun. Then, again, I think the adults mostly want to ask those same questions that you asked. What was George Burns like? What was Dick Van Dyke like? Because those are just two insane heroes to so many people. And, whenever we've all heard the expression, you don't want to meet your heroes because, they let you down so often. It's like, oh, my gosh, and they just fall short of any expectation. But I have to say, George Burns and Dick Van Dyke just exceeded any sort of expectations in spades. Those guys were just, just total mentions. Great guys.
That's awesome.
That's people just kind of look at my stuff and go, I didn't know you were in that or whatever. And it's just kind of fun.
I kind of forget, you had mentioned Ferris Bueller. I forgot about the TV show when we're talking. Again, there's so many things, but the Ferris Bueller TV show, that was a fun. And how long did that program last? How long was that on TV?
About 10 minutes.
Oh, it was more than that.
It's a lot of life. It was one of those things that everyone in hindsight went, what did we just do here? What happened?
Well, we'll chat with you more about that when you're in Sioux Falls next month. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'll give you all the lowdown on the Ferris Bueller outtake.
Well, Charlie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Thank you for joining us next month in Sioux Falls for Voices Against Cancer. We appreciate it a bunch.
I look forward to it. Honestly, Sioux Falls is so beautiful, and the people at that convention that I was at last time, the SuperCon, were the most ridiculously kind, polite human beings I think I've ever met. And I can't. What's the food I was eating? A lot of Chislic or something like that.
Yeah. Chislic, that's right. Yeah.
I'm getting another plate of that as soon as I land.
That sounds good. We'll see you when you get here, sir. Thank you again.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Charlie Schlatter is our guest today. And again, he'll be in Sioux Falls. It's coming up less than a month away now. It's called Voices Against Cancer. It's Saturday, July 9th. It's at the Washington Pavilion. You can find all of the information online at voicesagainstcancer.org.